Hey everyone, and welcome to my channel. Today I want to start the vlog for the second half of November. We're going to discuss all the books that I am reading during this month, and I'm currently reading 3 books, which is a little bit excessive, I know, but yesterday I decided to start 2 books because I could not decide which one to start first. I started reading Equal Rites by Terry Pratchett. This is the 3rd Discworld novel, and this is about witches. I'm very excited to get into it, and so far the beginning was really fun to read. We meet a man who is about to have his 8th child, and a wizard shows up, and he's basically like, yeah, bring me to this child as soon as it is born, and then I will transfer my magic onto the child. Now they all think it's gonna be a son, but maybe this is the hour of the birth of the first female wizard. So yeah, I'm very, very excited for this one. And then I also started reading Somewhere Beyond the Sea, which is the sequel to The House in the Cerulean Sea, and I'm very excited about this one as well. I got it from the library as an ebook, so this is the one I'm gonna take with me in a second, because today I have a little bit of an adventure planned, because I'm doing a tour on torture and like medieval torture chambers. So we'll see how that goes. I will try to take you along a little bit. I'm not quite sure how much you will be allowed to photograph and film there, so we'll see. But yeah, that's where I'm heading right now, and I'm running late, which is why I can't really give you much more information on these books. And then the third one is my current audiobook, which is Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell. I will do a complete reading vlog for that one, so I won't really talk about it in this vlog, but this is kind of a historical fantasy where we're looking at 1800s England, and especially the beginning of the 1800s, and there is 2 magicians who bring back magic to England, basically. There's a lot going on in that book. It's very long, so yeah, we'll talk about that in the separate vlog. So yeah, let's go. So today is the 23rd of November. I'm not feeling very well today, but I wanted to give you a very quick update. I'm currently halfway through Somewhere Beyond the Sea by TJ Klune, the sequel to The House in the Cerulean Sea. And unfortunately, so far, this book really can't tap into the same magic as the first book for me. It's just, yeah, it's not quite what I wanted it to be. You know, in the first book, you have the setup of kind of the stranger coming to this island, getting to know the children, getting to know Arthur, and kind of like finding a place to fit in with all of that. And now in the second book, I feel like we have two things that are kind of going on. And I'm intrigued to see whether that changes now in the second half because something is about to happen. But so far for the first half, we have Arthur as the main character now, which I did enjoy at the beginning because in the first book we followed Linus's perspective. And at the beginning of the book, Linus and Arthur are going back to the big city and they're kind of being interviewed by politicians. And obviously I picked this book up because, November, if you're looking at the world and what's happening, not been a great place to be. So I was picking this up to just give me a little bit of like something to, get my minds to a better place. And then we start this book out with this like interview situation where basically there is this like really power hungry politician woman, and she is now trying to use Arthur to further her agenda. So basically it was a setup, this whole interview thing. It wasn't about making anything better for magical people. So now we're right back into the political mess that I was trying to escape by reading this book. Now obviously this is not the book's fault, but it just wasn't quite what I wanted in that moment. And then as we go back to the island, it's a lot more about like raising the children and like how to bring them up and discussions about that. And honestly, like I'm not a parent. I never planned to be. So discussions about raising children aren't like very interesting to me personally. So yeah, so far this hasn't really sparked too much joy. I do still like the characters. I think my favorite child still is Theodore. He's just so cute. And I think what I like is that the kids also explore like new powers or like new skills that I didn't have before. So that's kind of fun. But yeah, we'll see where the second half goes. I'm just a little bit meh about it right now. But yeah, and then I'm also more than 75% through Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell. If everything goes well, you will already have access to the reading vlog for that when you watch this video. So I don't want to talk about it too much, but it's going well. I'm enjoying it. It is a very, very interesting book. It's not like anything I've read before, so that's definitely something. And yeah, I'm just excited to now get close to the finish line just because it is such a long book. It has like basically been there for me for this whole month, more or less. So yeah, we'll see about that. I'll update you again probably when I've finished some of these books finally. But yeah, life is like so busy. There's good things, but there's also a lot of stress at work. Last night I went out to a little town nearby and I had dinner with a friend. I didn't get any footage of the dinner. I just got a little bit of footage of my travel back and forth, so I hope that was interesting. But yeah, it was snowing a lot, like for like where I am. Like it wasn't snowing a lot, but like for the time of the year and where I live, it was kind of a bit of snow yesterday, so I tried to capture that a little bit. But it is supposed to get really warm again next week, so yeah. Now onto the Christmas decorating. Okay, we're back with the Goodreads Choice Award, so let's see who made it to the final round. I don't think I had read any of the fiction ones, so I won't vote in this one. But I do have some of these on my wish list, so it's exciting to see that they're here. Let's see, for historical fiction, that's really a genre that I am not very, knowledgeable about, so let's see thriller. I had voted for a thriller, so let's see whether it made it. It did make it, so we can vote for it again. I don't think it will win, to be honest, because the other ones have way more buzz, but I have read this one, so I'm gonna vote for it. So for romance, I had read Bride and it made it. I have not read any of the other ones, and as I said in the first round, I don't think that Ellie Hazelwood really needs my vote, so I'm not gonna do it. Then we have Romantasy, and in this one I have read When the Moon Hatched, really did not like it, so I'm definitely not gonna vote for it. I haven't read any of the others, but just because the only one I really would be excited to read is The Spell Shop, I'm gonna vote for this one. I don't think it should be in this category, to be fair. Okay, fantasy. This is where it gets more interesting. Okay, I had voted for T. Kingfisher, and she did not make it, unfortunately. But I have by now finished reading Somewhere Beyond the Sea, and I did not really love it. So I think this time I am gonna vote for The Familiar, because I really, really enjoyed that one. The Tainted Cap is still a book I would really love to read, but I just haven't got around to it yet. So yeah, I'm gonna vote for The Familiar this time. Science fiction, I don't think I had read any of these, but yeah, some of these I'm really interested in. I'm interested in Moon of the Turning Leaves, I'm interested in Mercy of the Gods, and Annie Bot, but I haven't read any of these. So horror, okay, let's see for horror. I don't remember what I voted for. I voted for T. Kingfisher again. And even though I have quite a few of these on my wish list, I have not read any of the other ones. So yeah, we're going to do T. Kingfisher. Okay, I don't remember whether, no, I had not read any of the debut novels. I think I voted for this one because I'm really excited to read it. So I'm just gonna do it again. Audiobook, this is a category I don't really understand, so I'm just gonna skip it. YA fantasy, let's see. Okay, interesting. I hadn't even realized there was a Tahara Mafi book on there. A little bit blind when I looked at it the first time. Yeah, so the only one I've read so far is Ruthless Vows. Again, I don't think that Rebecca Ross really needs my vote. And yeah, I feel like I would probably check some of these out. So yeah, I'm not gonna vote in this one. Let's see, YA fiction. I have read Sleeping Girls, and I think this time around I'm gonna vote for it. I don't remember whether I did that in the first round, but it was good. It was a little bit disappointing, but it was still good. And then I think for the other categories I didn't really have. I hadn't read any of these, so I think I'm just gonna vote for The Message. I think this was kind of controversial. I saw a couple of interviews about it. Okay, so that's it. Let's see who wins. So today is the 22nd of November. Unfortunately, after decorating for Christmas, I got quite a bad migraine. I'm not quite over it yet, still in the middle of it, but I hope it will fade throughout today. I have finished 2 books yesterday, which is very exciting. I managed to finish my audiobook, Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell by Susanna Clarke. I will have a reading vlog for this one up, so you can see all of my thoughts. But this was an interesting book. I decided to give it 4 stars in the end. I did really enjoy the ending. I think that it definitely had more emotion than I thought it would have for me, because I didn't really feel like I connected to a ton of the characters. But yeah, it was a very interesting exploration. It's definitely more for people who are into academia kind of books. Even though it deals with magic, I would say that it is much more about how knowledge works in our world and who has knowledge, who has the right to knowledge, and how do we deal with dangerous knowledge and stuff like that. So that was quite interesting. As it was published 20 years ago, there were a couple of things in there that I wasn't really happy about. They used the G word at least twice, and also in the final bits there is a very transphobic comment made by the villain. So you could say, it is one part of showing that he is a villain. On the other hand, I just feel like it is easy to show that people are bad without having them make homophobic, transphobic, xenophobic, or fatphobic comments. You can just have bad people be bad without putting that stuff out there. But apart from these things, I did enjoy this. I would say that it is a story that just very much flows. There isn't high intrigue or high excitement with it, but also because I listened to it on audio, I didn't really mind. I don't know how it would have gone if I would have read it as a physical book, but as an audiobook it worked really well, especially for my stress levels right now. It was nice to have something calm to return to. So yeah, that was my audiobook. I'm sorry, I have to change locations. I can't hold the camera up right now. And then the other book I finished was an ebook that I read from my library, and that was Somewhere Beyond the Sea by T.J. Klune. This is the sequel to House in the Cerulean Sea. And unfortunately, this one was a little bit of a disappointment. I still gave it 4 stars, but I think a lot of those 4 stars are more nostalgia for the first book and the characters that I love so much. But the plot and the kind of way it deals with the topic it deals with just wasn't very satisfying for me, especially with the world we're living in currently. Obviously, this book was written a little bit before, recent events, but yeah, I feel like it's just a little bit too simple. In this book, we are following Arthur, who is the kind of master of this orphanage, as they call it, and he's taking care of some magical children. And in the first book, we get introduced to the children. We follow Linus. And so in the second book, we do have a different perspective on all of that. I think I've talked about that before, but because of my migraine brain, I can't quite remember what I've already said. Also, I feel like I should show you the cat, but then I'm out of frame almost. Yeah, this book dealt with more political questions. The question of what do we do when people want to attack our rights, which is definitely what is happening in the US right now, for example, but also many other countries in the world where people are oppressed, where women don't have equal rights, where other minorities don't have equal rights. So yeah, I feel like this is a very timely question, but this, in the end, it just was so unrealistic to me, and the kind of underlying message that we replace a bureaucracy with politicians with a good monarchy was just a bit odd to me, to be honest. And while I do see that he's trying to tell a positive story, I just felt like the ending it just didn't work. We also have a character in here that is very much Umbridge coded, and I did enjoy the author acknowledgement note at the end. Oh, now she's coming to sit on my lap with her wet feet. You have wet feet. And so in the acknowledgements, T.J. Klune talked about how he wants to be kind of the anti-J.K. Rowling, and he wants to fight for queer rights and trans rights and all of that, which I think is great. Could not agree more with that. But at the same time, this character that is just, so evil in a way, and I feel like this character does get a lot of pushback in this book, so it was bearable, but also it just introduced a lot of stress for me while I was reading the book. So it just didn't have the same cozy magic of the first book for me. And that is kind of what I went in expecting. Now, obviously, it's not the book's fault. I think a second book can go into a different direction. That's totally fine. But yeah, it's just, I don't know, in the execution, it just didn't really work for me personally so well. So yeah, I think if I wouldn't love these characters so much, this would have been a 3 or 3.5 star. But just because, I love being with like these characters again. I love seeing Theo, my favorite, but also the other kids, so adorable, and just this like, communities coming together kind of theme is just something that I really enjoy. So I'm just giving it 4 stars, but keep in mind that it is with this like nostalgia caveat. So for my further reading, I do have my book right there behind me. I'm going to continue reading Equal Rites now. It would be great if I managed to finish that before the month is over. I will try, but I can't promise anything just because I'm feeling so poorly. I do have a very, very busy week ahead of me, so we'll try, we'll see. And for my audiobook, I did start, as promised, the book that won my holiday book audit, and that is The Merriest Mistress. This is a holiday romance where we have a married couple, Patrick and Quinn, and I think they have been married for almost a year at this point, and they're both very unhappy. Patrick is very stressed out about his job, and he actually, he just doesn't really function well in his job right now, and is stressing about that. And then Quinn is very unsatisfied with the relationship. He feels left alone and like they don't really communicate with each other anymore and stuff like that. And that's what we follow for the first like 10-ish% of the book. So it is a little bit much unhappiness for the beginning, but the like interesting plot point is that they attack Santa because they think it is a burglar, and then they have to save Christmas by becoming Mr. and Mr. Santa Claus. And that's where I'm at right now. They just started this journey, and I'm very excited to see where it goes. I think the idea is so silly and fun, so I hope this will be a very nice like holiday read, and I will definitely update you on that. Now I have a purring kitten on my lap and I need to go to work. This is like the worst possible outcome when you have a migraine and a cute cat and a warm home and you have to go to work. But yeah, that's my very unhappy update. I'll talk to you soon.
Now, I put this on the list because this just made me feel such good things. And then I was like, right, how do I describe this without giving spoilers? So like, it's just got that lovely, welcoming atmosphere, as well as being a book that'll probably make you quite mad in places interesting and unusual. And I had a good time with it. So this one, Midnight Everwood by M.A.
Thank you for watching today's video. I really enjoyed this show. Hopefully you liked it too. I will stop yapping and I'm gonna catch you all tomorrow. Okay, bye everybody.
So today's the 29th of November. We are almost through with the month, and I don't really have a big reading update. I am 50 more pages into Equal Rites, so I guess a little bit more than a third of the way through. It would be amazing to finish this before the month is over, but I'm not super hopeful with that because I'll be traveling for the rest of the month. I will go and see my family now. I will head to the train station in a couple of minutes. So I will bring my book, but I'll also have to work a little bit on the train, and so I'm really not quite sure how much we can expect from my reading for the last days of November. For my audiobook, The Merriest Mistress, I'm also more than halfway through by now. I am enjoying this one. I would say that the first like 30% or so were a little bit dragging for me personally. It was a lot about the characters and their stress and how their relationship isn't really working out and how they're dealing with their work environments and stuff like that. So it just took a little while, but as soon as we arrived on the North Pole, it gets so much cozier. And now we kind of have this like time jumpy part where we see like the next year of their lives, how they prepare for Christmas, how they help out with the elves and all of that. I don't think this will be a new favorite book, but it is cute and it is sweet. So it's basically doing what I wanted it to, and we will see when I will finish that. But again, I don't think it will be before the month is over. So there will be a short little update after this one where I close out the vlog as soon as I'm back home. And then we're already in the last month of the year, which is terrifying. How did that happen? So today is the 1st of December and this is going to be the final clip of this vlog. I just made it home. If you hear the cat crying, it is because I just made it home. She's a bit unsettled, but everything's fine. She just had her dinner. She's doing okay. But yeah, I made it back home. I had a lovely weekend. I did not manage to finish the Equal Rites, and I will give you my final verdict for this book in my December vlog. So yeah, I have a couple of more pages right now, but I had about half of it left when November was over, so I think that's fair. And then also, I did not finish reading The Merriest Gentleman. I had about 3 hours of that left by the end of November. So again, the final verdict will be in my December vlog. Just wanted to let you know I made it home safely. I hope you had fun watching this vlog. I hope it was interesting. Leave a like or a nice comment. Those always help me out and I appreciate them so much. And yeah, feel free to subscribe if you want to see more vlog content, and I will talk to you very soon. Bye!